with Tara Bush. Brought to you by the Health Services Authority. Caring people, quality service. Visit hsa.ky.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. 2 locations, Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Refill and transfer prescriptions online. Call 947-8900 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky. Also brought to you by Cayman Medical Center, Cayman's most awarded private medical clinic.
And UHealth, International University of Miami.
World-class healthcare in the heart of Miami.
The Light Room, your holistic sanctuary for physical and mental restoration, repair, and rejuvenation. The power that made the body heals the body. 38 Pasadena Place, Georgetown. Find us online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
When I first started going to Healthcare Pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy, with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governor Square, where they care about my health.
Hello and welcome to For the Health of It. I'll be interviewing Miss Carol KUMASA. You may remember her by a different last name, but she's done quite a number of shows on For the Health of It about finances. And our first episode, this one will be before Christmas, and you're going to hear her again after Christmas. This one, it'll be how to get through Christmas without ruining your finances, basically, and being content. Creating the Christmas you want without having a financial hangover, basically, is what it'll be. And she has a company called LAMP Finance Services. I love that, Carol. Hello and welcome to For the Health of It.
Thank you, Miss Tara. I'm happy to be here, and Merry Christmas.
So, Miss Carol, your company promotes financial literacy, right? Explain the name.
So, LAMP Financial Services is a nod to the kerosene lamp. Back in old-time Cayman, where many a family sat around the dining room table with the kerosene lamp, lighting their budget paper, lighting their letters to their seamen abroad, reading those letters, writing those letters, counting out their money that was sent home, all at the light of the kerosene lamp. And also lamps are a symbol of guidance, of light, and of a way forward. So it's a nod to our past and hopefully light to light people's way financially.
Because money is freedom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It is. I mean, it is not one of my values. So I don't do things for money. But I can tell you, as I've gotten older, I've realized that it really is, it's got to be a value because of the freedom that it creates. Right. So a lot of people feel pressured to create the perfect Christmas. What kind of cultural or social pressures lead us to overspending this Christmas, and how can we push back against them?
Right. So we know the comparison culture is heavy in our little country, right? So we live on 3 small islands, and we see what people drive, what people wear, what gift they get for their 10-year-old for Christmas, which vacation they take their spouse on as a Christmas gift. So we see that comparison culture heavy simply because we live in a small community. And second of all, because we have everyone's apparent lives in the palms of our hand with social media.
Mm-hmm.
So social media is really one of the fuels of this comparison culture. We see the matching pajamas on the name brand couch with the huge Christmas tree behind them with 10 million gifts under it. And we compare what we have to what we see on social media. So we have that heavy comparison culture in Cayman. And we also have that, I want to give my children, my family, what I didn't have. You know, many of us didn't hear our parents talking about finances unless it was, we can't afford that. We can't do that. Do you think money grows on trees? So now, if we can borrow it, if we can hopefully save it, if we can get it, we want to give something different to our children. And instead of healing our wounds from finances, from our past financial mistakes or from our past financial upbringing, we then splurge and give things that we really can't afford to make up for that. So there's other reasons, of course, as well, but I think those are the ones that I see most prevalent in Cayman, why people overspend and tend to do things, tend to overdo things for Christmas financially in Cayman.
Yeah, we do have a consumer culture.
Yes.
You know, where instead of saving or repurposing or, I don't know, we just want to buy, and it soothes us. It is a soother.
Right.
So.
And you did ask how we can pull away from that, and one of the things is the topic for today is contentment. That contentment, just being happy with what we have, appreciating what we have, appreciating those other people in our lives, and what we can give to them as far as our time, our energy, our love, our knowledge, and also accepting that from them as well.
Yeah, I can tell you that as I go into this Christmas, I don't care about having presents. I would just like to have 5 minutes with my dad,
yes,
right?
I know.
So that is having that family connection, being with family. We don't know what a gift that is. So that's contentment. I'm glad you brought that up. You talk about financial contentment, not settling, but finding peace in what we have. You mentioned that earlier, but what does contentment look like, practically speaking?
Right. So contentment will look different for different people. Contentment for me is when I get home and I look around my house, of course I see I need to sweep the floor. I see a bit of paint on the wall that I need to paint again. But when I sit in my home and I think about the love and the security that I have there and the peace that I have there, I am solely content. I am wholly content. I, of course, see bigger houses. I see fancier furniture, other places. But I love my couch. I love my living room. I love my home because of, just like I said, the security and the peace that I have there. And so for me, that is contentment with my life. So no matter what I see other people with, I'm happy for those other people. But I know I'm happy with what I have. And financial contentment, I don't have the stress and the anxiety that I would have if I had a bunch of debt or any debt at all. You know, I don't have that anxiety. I don't have that pressure. I don't have that, how can I take from this bill to pay that debt off and worry about whether they will turn this service off if I don't pay it in time.
Yeah.
So for me, that is contentment. When I pay all my bills, I don't have to worry about debt. I can put some money away for savings. I can gift money to other people. That for me is contentment. And everyone's contentment definition will vary, but peace and calm and security.
I mean, when you take out your debit card, you're not worried. That is contentment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can make it to the end of the month.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know. That's contentment. And there's, for me, there's nothing worse than financial pressure. There's things that make me lose weight, and that's one of them. Okay, and it's not because I'm starving to death, but because I get so stressed out.
worried,
Yeah,
yes.
robbing Peter and paying Paul. And
Right.
thankfully, I working with you a couple of years ago, I'm not making huge savings, but I'm no longer in that kind of debt.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good to hear.
I haven't dialed up to the other part yet,
But you're getting there.
But
yeah.
I've solved one problem.
Good. At least you're not creating any more problems.
No,
so that's really good. That's a plus.
Yeah, I am. I don't have that. Oh my God,
Right.
where is the money coming from?
Oh, yay.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
paid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Nothing's going to get turned off. So many people assume meaningful gifts have to be expensive. What are some low cost or no cost gift ideas that truly matter?
So when it comes to gift giving, like you mentioned before, we can be very commercial. I don't know if it's because we're so close to the U.S. And we can acquire things so easily. I don't know if we do have that culture of debt now, so we can just charge it and pay it later. Whatever the reason is, we have become very commercial around Christmas especially. But we need to start to shift our mindset into that. What is practical? What is the real meaning? Like you just mentioned, you would give, you would rather 5 minutes again with your dad. That's that human connection, that love, that companionship, that thinking about the information and the ideas that the other person can share with you. So we need to shift more to that. Not only our own mindsets, but also teaching our children about that. So some of the things that we can give that we can actually make ourselves are like homemade photo albums. We don't see them anymore because they're always our photos are either on the phone or on a digital photo frame. But something that people can hold in their hand and that's tangible and that you can share and talk about it. Write letters. So many of us are not able to say face to face what we feel about people, whether it's something lovely. Like it's hard for some people to say, I love you, looking someone else in the eye and saying that. And it's hard for people to say, I'm really angry at you, but I'm happy you're in my life because I know we can fix this. So write those emotions and those thoughts down and share it with someone.
Okay.
Things like family recipe books. My mom wrote for myself and my sister-in-laws and my nieces and my daughter. She wrote tons of recipes out for us in little journals for us, and I made one up till last night for our Thanksgiving lunch today at work. I used one of her recipes to make Caymanian cornbread. She's passed and gone years ago, but I was able to have that and make her recipe to share with my coworkers, my colleagues, my friends, and that's a gift that she had given me before she passed on. So gifts of time, things like babysitting vouchers. I have a niece and her husband who have a 2-year-old, babysitting her for an evening so they could go out together, you know, allowing me to spend time with her and them to spend time as a young married couple is a gift. And also me going to an elderly person who can thatch, who can, you know, make rope, who can sew, who can cook a certain meal that I don't know how to cook, and asking them, can you share your knowledge with me? Teach me how to do this. I'm spending time with that person. I'm helping their brain to stay active because they're having to explain to me, they're having to talk to me, and we're getting that camaraderie, that understanding between each other and share. So that time goes a long way. Just different things like for the younger people, even making playlists. I remember one year my daughter and her friends gave each other like the QR codes with different playlists on them. They knew each other's personalities, the music that they liked, so they made playlists for them and just did a free QR code. And that's one of the things that they shared with each other for Christmas. And that was beautiful because it showed exactly, I know you as a person, I value you, and I like to know the things you like. And it was relatively, if not very, very cheap, it was relatively cheap or free even. So things like if you're handy, fix something that's broken in someone's house. If they've have furniture that's been in a box for a while, go and assemble it. help organize someone's closet. If someone wants to come help me organize our closet, please come. That would be a great Christmas gift for me. Just different things like that. Having a board game with family members, board game night with family members, that valuable time together. In January, for example, after Christmas is over and everyone spent all their money, hopefully not your listeners, of course, bring them a homemade meal. You know, give them a voucher for one homemade meal when they get busy in January or when their groceries run low. So there's so many different things that we could do. I was thinking of the different gift ideas, like instead of buying all the latest gadgets, you can donate money to a charity, to a church, to a family in need on behalf of the people on your Christmas list. And I know someone did that for us one year. They gave us a beautiful card, and I think it had their picture in it, and it had a handwritten note. On behalf of your family, we have donated to the Humane Society. And that meant a lot to us because we had rescue dogs at the time that we had got from Humane Society, and it meant a lot to us because they had given back in our name. So, you know, so many different things we can do instead of breaking the bank, going into debt, to give these commercial gifts that half the time people put down and forget, if you really think about it.
It's true. I mean, we might look at it and go, oh, yeah, but, you know, an hour later, we're, you know, doing on our phones or we're watching TV and the moment's pass. It doesn't make us, it doesn't fill our cups for any prolonged period of time.
So these things can help us really, and we teach our children by example as well, so this cycle doesn't continue with them.
Yeah, I mean, I remember growing up, and we would go to my aunt's, where I'm going this year for Christmas, but she's passed on, and their living room would be full of presents for, you know, I think it was 5 kids, my brother and my sister and I, and then her 2 children, and it would just be all these presents. And we would blow through them in an hour, right? But as we've gotten older, you know, it and the games became more expensive, right? Like PlayStation 5, I mean, how many of them can you put under a tree?
Yeah, exactly. Without going into debt.
Without going into debt. And does it bring your family together? You know. And
I'm not saying do away with the gift-giving culture at all.
No.
I'm just saying think of it from a different light. Things like if you have a big family especially, do what they call Secret Santa. You all pull names.
Yeah.
So instead of me buying for 10 nieces and nephews and, you know, 3 brothers and 4 sister-in-laws or whatever, pull names. I'll buy for one, the person that I pulled the name for, and everyone will get a meaningful gift, but it won't be what you just described as the whole room full of things, and then, you know, you open them in an hour, and then 1 or 2 things the child might like or the adult might really treasure, and then the rest is up on a shelf. So think about different things like that you can do that helps the whole family. And I dare at least one of your listeners to be the brave one in their family to bring these different ideas up. Because sometimes people talk about it behind closed doors, but they're not brave enough to say, you know, I value you and I want to show you that in the time that I spend with you, rather than going into debt to buy you a gift that you may not even really like.
It's true.
Be brave enough to actually start those conversations in your families, in your friend groups.
Yeah. So in the spirit of Dave Ramsey, which is your financial guru and who you follow, how can families create a Christmas budget that actually keeps them from the poorhouse?
From the poorhouse, right. So for the listeners who do not know, Dave Ramsey is an American financial advisor. He has a talk show, he has books, he's really built an empire on helping people get out of debt, stay out of debt, and build financial freedom. You can find his stuff for free on YouTube, on his podcast. You don't have to spend a cent really to learn what he teaches. He has 7 baby steps, and the main point of his program, his teaching, is really a zero-based budget. And that's one of the things, so that's the main tool, I should say. And that's one of the things we could do at Christmas as well. So build that zero-based budget for our Christmas spending, so we know how much we have to spend on Christmas. And I'm not saying how much debt we can go into. I'm saying we have saved $500 for Christmas to spend on Christmas. How much of that $500 is going to go to food? How much of it is going to go to decorations? How much of it is going to go to gifts for each of your children and your spouse and your parents or whoever else you buy for? If you are one of those families who have not yet figured out that Christmas happens December 25th every year, I'm letting your listeners know now, next December 25th, it'll be Christmas again. God spare our lives. And you can start budgeting ahead, because another one of the things Dave Ramsey teaches is the sink-in funds. So figure out in your budget how much you're going to put aside for Christmas for next year, and put that amount aside every month. So instead of having to come up with $500, $1,000, $1,500 out of your December paycheck to float Christmas, or November paycheck to float Christmas, you've put aside a bit every single month for 12 months, for 11 months. And then when Christmas comes, you have the money without having to pull out the credit card. So that's another thing. Sorry, you wanted to...
Yeah. So you sit down and you say, well, we have 10 families. My budget is $50 per family. Mm-hmm. So you got 12 months. I can put $40 aside for the next 12 months.
You're very much more quick at math than I am, but yes, we'll go with $40 a month, right? And you put that aside in either an envelope, because that was another thing we were going to just talk about, was an envelope system. So you could put that $40 in your Christmas envelope every month of the next year of 2026. And then when Christmas comes, or when it's time to start buying gifts and decorations and getting the food, you have that money already. You can put it in an account with your other savings, but earmarked. That $40 a month is earmarked for Christmas, and you can see it building up. So when it comes time to do other things like a birthday, nope, that $40 a month is not for a birthday. I'm going to leave that there. So it does require discipline, but it is a lot less painful than having to pay debt back over a 3-4 year time because you overspent on Christmas.
And then when you think about, if you put it on your credit card, the $40 or $50 that you would spend on your card, and you take about, say you take a year to pay that back, that's probably somewhere between $80 to $100
right,
by that
interest
point.
has built up, right?
Yeah.
Exactly right.
So you're jibbing the person that you gave a present to, which would be me, for instance. You would, instead of giving me $100 present, okay, you jibbed me and gave me half of it, but you paid $100.
Paid the bank the rest. You're right. That is
so that's not smart math.
Exactly. Exactly. So those are some of the things. Just that debt is so easy to pull out a credit card. It's so easy to ask for a cash advance, to go to cash to payday, because you see the latest PS5, I think, is the latest one now. I don't even know. But you see that, and you know your child's been asking for that all year. But if you had put some money down all year long, you wouldn't be in this situation now. So that's just a little tool to help you. If you have not yet saved up a little bit every month for Christmas, and Christmas is almost here, that's when you exercise your discipline, start to change your mindset, which we should all be doing anyhow, and start this Christmas. So in January, February, March, all the way through 2026, we're not having to pay back for the spending that we did this Christmas.
I mean, if it were me, I'd probably budget in, or I should ask you, would you budget in like the meals that you're going to have?
Right. That's exactly right. So it's not just the gifts, it's any expense that is assigned for Christmas, that you have for Christmas. So that could be the extra meals. If you know you go out to eat with family or with your co-workers, if that's a routine, that's a regular Christmas thing, you have to budget that amount, because that's going to be money instead of cooking at home. Like it's a typical October and you're cooking meals at home, you're going to go to brunch at, a fancy hotel or something, and that's going to be probably $150. So that is extra money. So you budget that out for Christmas. So don't forget those other things for Christmas, like the extra dinners, like the decorations for your house, whatever you like to do. Oh, alcohol, yes.
Yeah,
fireworks. So,
fireworks.
Yeah. So all of these things have to be put aside for Christmas and budgeted out.
Yeah. Okay. And like you said, just remind you, Rome wasn't built overnight. So Christmas it's coming up. This Christmas is not far away. So it might be tough to do it now, but think about it now. Create that austerity Christmas. In other words, we're going to do Christmas on a budget. Yeah. Get together, be the brave one, as you say.
The brave one. Yes.
And say, look, I love you. I love me more. I don't want to be stressed out. Let's not be stressed out together. Can we agree on this? But going forward, let's budget from now and have a family plan with it. It could be turn that into a tradition, you know.
And I think that is so important, because it is too late now for those of us who were not saving all year long. That's a goal for next year. So that is too late now. I think in government we have one more paycheck before Christmas Day, which, by the way, has to last us all the way through January. So it's going to be a long one. So don't think you can spend all your December paycheck for Christmas either. So just remember, your future self deserves you to be brave, to be more mindful, and for you to start strengthening relationships with other people, start spending quality time with other people, rather than buying and getting that rush for 30 seconds, getting that rush for maybe an hour when you see the person open the gift that you think they wanted, and then it goes away. But if you change that mindset now, start changing that from now, spending time with others, managing your Christmas money properly, or the Christmas money we don't yet have properly. And then come January, then we can start fresh, zero-based budget, get the year sorted out, and get on the Dave Ramsey plan or whichever other plan fits your lifestyle that will help you have financial peace and contentment. If you need to get counseling, I advise anyone who needs counseling to get it, because we know things like depression, anxiety can, cause us to spend more money. Things like past trauma can make us spend more money as well, because we look to soften our emotions, and one of those things is retail therapy. So always reach out to your pastor, to your trained counselors, to whoever can help you with those things, so that you can get on the right financial path.
I was just going to, when you were talking about that, the first Christmas you had to do this, was it easy?
The first Christmas, that's a good question. So I've been debt-free since 2017. And for those of you your listeners who haven't listened to my other shows with my story, we did go through that, all the baby steps and paying off debt where it was slash and burn. So I budget generally for one gift for my daughter, whatever it is, whether it's I don't know, she's a big musician, so some years it was a music instrument or music lessons or something like that. Other years it was other things. So I make sure I budget for one gift for her and other little trinkets. But the budgeting part of it was hard. Sticking to that budget was hard.
How did you feel? Do you remember that?
At first I felt anxious, because I felt more anxious than I usually feel, because I felt like could I do it? I didn't have anyone really to be accountable to. Could I do it just on my own? Was I worth enough to actually make this work and do better? And it works so good. And it gave me such positive feedback, just paying off like one debt, sticking to the budget for 1 month. Like I found that I no longer had to feel like I had to be accountable to someone else, because that feedback that I got from those accomplishments made me feel so much better than the long-term debt enslavement really is what I was in. So that I just felt so much better, so much more free, that feeling, even though it was hard, is such a better feeling than always staying in debt and having that anxiety. Also, when I saw the difference that my mindset shift made in other people, they want to spend time with me. They want to sit down and chat with me. They want to sit and look at those pictures and, things from the memories we made. So that was great feedback from my emotional self as well. And those things just paid off. When I can look at my daughter and I can know that we did things together that were cheap or free, yes, but she made such memories. Like I can look back at things now and think of, wonderful things that we did together. Just spending time in the park, going down to KUMASA Bay, for example, and hardly spending any money down there. Just going in the fountain and meeting friends and, just walking around and just going to the beach and things like that. Those were real memories where we could slow down, we could talk, we could reminisce. She could learn as she was going. And it was just amazing, just looking back on that part of my life where I could relax financially and pass messages on to her that now she's 21 and she's so much better at money than I am right now. Nice. Because she grew up in it from time she was about 10. Mm-hmm. And that's what she learned to budget. She's been away from home in sixth form college and now in university since she was 16. And she left here with a budget, and she follows her budget. When I hear other parents talking about, my child's overspending, I send my child money to university and it's gone in 2 days, and that's foreign to me. Mm-hmm. I know I'm blessed with her, and I know I'm blessed with her. I know that beyond a doubt. But part of this blessing is because she grew up in it. She understood the money messages. She watched me pay off debt. She watched me on a budget. She helped me budget. She contributed to the family budget. And now she's budgeting and saving, investing, all of these things herself. And she just turned 21. And
wow.
I'm, of course, super proud of her as a person. But I'm also super proud that I could help her to build her legacy as a young woman who can be financially free at 21, really.
Wow.
Have her own sense of financial freedom.
So 2 things I want to dial down a little bit out of that. For you said you were a little bit uncomfortable, mm-hmm. but when you had that conversation with your family, mm-hmm. I am not going to, this
mm-hmm.
Christmas, don't look for presents, look more for my time. How did that land?
Right. So, of course, not everyone in the family would be of the same mindset. Mm-hmm. So when things like proposing that we pull names from a hat, mm-hmm. we initially decided, yes, that's what we'll do. That sounds good. And then about a week later, different family members would come back and say, well, I think I need to buy for my, all of these people. So I think I'm going to back out of this. And I can't force people to think the way that I'm thinking.
Of course not. Yeah.
So at that point, that Christmas, what I did then was decide to donate to charities on the family's behalf. Mm-hmm. So that's the year that I did that, because I couldn't get that momentum going. Mm-hmm. It would be just myself and my daughter pulling her 2 names out of the hat. Mm-hmm. But that's when I did the donating on your behalf. So I did the beautiful cards, got mm-hmm. nice cards and wrote nice, lovely notes in it to each family member that I was supposed to buy for. And then maybe, like how some of the charities give you a free calendar or something like that. If I got that, I would put it in. And I was able to control that budget on my own because I knew how much in my budget I had for Christmas spending.
But how did you feel?
I actually felt okay with it because I knew I was doing it for myself and my daughter. And I knew I was doing it from a genuine place of love, not just for my daughter and I, but also for the people that I was doing this for. Because, like I said, if I could just walk in and buy little trinkets, but really how much thought did I put into it?
Yeah.
But writing down and writing a note in a beautiful card from my heart, from my family member, and choosing the charity that might fit them. You know, if you were a, plastic-free person, I could donate to Cayman Plastic Free. If you were an animal person, I could donate to Blue Iguana or, Humane Society. So it showed that I actually knew that person as well. So I actually felt really good doing it at the time. And I was kind of hesitant giving it to them as gifts because we get judged, right? We oftentimes get judged for the gifts that we give.
Right.
But my family is, thank God, very appreciative, very grateful, very honoring. So that part for me and my family was positive feedback as well. Oh, wow, you gave on behalf of me to the Blue Iguanas. I know you hear me talking about that a lot, so thank you for doing that. I don't know if they're right behind the closed doors, but to my face, it was good. So,
nice.
So I got positive feedback, even though I was a bit hesitant about giving it. I knew it was coming from the right place, and when I gave it, the way that it was received.
And then you were talking about your daughter, how being with you, she's managed to build her own financial muscle.
Right.
And what a gift that's been. How do you get parents to wrap their heads around talking about money?
Well, I think we have to talk early and talk about money. I'm not saying you have to tell your children how much you make, and there's no fear mongering where we have to say, oh no, I don't know if the lights are going to be on this way. I don't know if we'll have AC when you come home from school. That's not the kind of talking I'm talking about. Talking about prioritizing, understanding your family's needs versus our wants, those kind of things, and helping children understand really money is about saving, spending, and giving, and what those three things look like in your family, and help them to have a money identity as well, and help them to be grateful. That gratitude, that contentment that we started the conversation off with is such an important part, because if without that gratitude and that contentment, that's really where we run awry. That's really where we want what the Joneses have. We want what we see other people with. We want what we really can't have at the time because we can't afford it. Yeah. So that gratitude and that open money conversation.
Okay. This is the last question now. What practical steps can families take to make sure that their spending aligns with their values, especially when money is tight? Kind of touched on this a little bit,
right? So things like that, budgeting, and also the envelope system where we're putting our Christmas money in our envelopes, whether it's all year long, and then you put them in the envelopes, and once that money is done, your Christmas spending is done. Also changing your mindset, like we talked about, as far as giving and receiving, because we have to be grateful receivers as well, because Ms. Tara, you can only give me what you have to give me, and it might be different from what your colleague has to give me. So I need to be grateful and know that you have given me that from a place of love and of kindness. So that receiving mindset has to be different as well. But remember to budget, remember to use your envelope system, and remember to just be grateful acceptors of gifts and thoughtful givers of gifts.
Thank you so much, Ms. Carol, for this advice and helping us to be content going into Christmas, even though, I know as a child I had really different expectations and that sense of entitlement.
Yes.
But I think you become a very discontent and entitled adult when that happens. And then what?
Yeah.
It takes some undoing. So have those conversations now.
Right.
with your children.
And live that example. And I keep saying I'm so blessed with the 21-year I have. From time she was very little, no matter what gift you gave her, she was grateful for. I didn't do that. That's the way God gave her to me. Like I remember one Christmas recently, I got her a really nice gift. I had budgeted for it, saved for it, and it was a new phone because her phone was cracked, and just because it was like 6 years old. And she had taken care of it for 6 years, and you know, they become obsolete, this, that, the other thing. So I bought her a phone, but I put it in a box that a mop had come in. I had one of these mops that you dry and it goes around in a circle and it dries, and she had come home from college and saw it, and she goes, "Oh, that's a really nice mop." And she goes, "I like that." So I put the phone down in this mop bucket, and she opened the gift and she said, "Oh, you got me a mop." And she was, "Oh, you got me a mop." And then I said, "Yeah, but look inside it." And she goes, "Oh, you got me a phone." And both of the reactions were great. Like, you know, it was just, she would have been just as grateful for this mop as she was finding out that she got a brand new phone. Aww. So I don't know where I got this young lady from, but I am very grateful for her. And it shows about the mindset that we're talking about. She is contented. She is grateful. And so far, so good. Thank God.
And from what I heard you say earlier, you're easier to be around and more people are drawn to you now.
Yes. Yes, I'm a nicer person now that I'm less anxious.
See? This is what financial freedom can give to you. You've been listening to me interview Miss Carol KUMASA, and her business is LAMP Financial Services. Thank you for being on For the Health of It.
Thank you for having me, and Merry Christmas to you and your listeners.
You're most welcome. We are moving you to the life you want.
There's nothing more important than your health, and seeking expert healthcare with physicians you can trust is what you deserve. UHealth, the University of Miami Health System, offers peace of mind to you and your family with a first-class experience. Our patient coordinators assist with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. As South Florida's only academic-based health system, UHealth offers cutting-edge treatment, compassionate care, and life-changing results just a flight away. Learn more at umiamihealth.org/international.
When I first started going to Healthcare Pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governor Square, where they care about my health.
This is For the Health of It with Tara Bush. Brought to you by the Health Services Authority. Caring people, quality service. Visit hsa.ky.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. 2 locations, Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Refill and transfer prescriptions online. Call 947-8900 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky. Also brought to you by Cayman Medical Center, Cayman's most awarded private medical clinic.
And UHealth, International University of Miami.
World-class healthcare in the heart of Miami.
The Light Room, your holistic sanctuary for physical and mental restoration, repair, and rejuvenation. The power that made the body heals the body. 38 Pasadora Place, Georgetown. Find us online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
One radio station.
Radio Cayman.